Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing something new. Well, actually I'm doing something old, but it's new for most people. Before I had a podcast called The Corner Man. Unfortunately, I lost all the audio tracks to that from the server that was holding it, but I'm starting it again, and I'm starting it off with a video this time. So we're going to be doing it in YouTube on video, and then the audio will be coming out soon on iTunes and Stitcher and all that stuff. My first guest pictured here is the guy on the left. His name is Jason Bryant. He's the head trainer at Arashi-Do in Calgary, Alberta. And this is his student, Chris McMillan, who just won the WBC Canadian title. He's probably the best fighter in Canada at 154, which is super welterweight. And we're just going to talk about their training, their preparation, all the stuff they do from road work to weightlifting to pad rounds, bag rounds. So it's a really good interview. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know in the comments below what you liked, what you would like to hear more of. And here we go. Enjoy the video, guys. Okay, so I'm here with Jason Bryant, and you're the trainer at Arashi-Do. Am I saying that right?
Yeah. Arashi-Do is sort of like our overall blanket, and then we have like sort of like Lumpaiyu division would be our Muay Thai division.
Okay.
Jiu-Jitsu. So Arashi-Do as a whole, and Lumpaiyu as well.
Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna turn off my phone because that's kind of lame. So you're a karate instructor and a Muay Thai instructor, is that correct?
Yeah. Started in karate first, and then just found Muay Thai through kickboxer. Van Damme.
Yeah, we're about the same age, I think, right? Like you're like late 30s, kind of early 40s. Yeah, same.
30s,
so that kickboxer was
right in your time,
right? Yeah. So you just got your 4th degree black belt, is that correct?
Yeah, in karate. Yeah, I just 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. It's cool to be recognized for the cool accomplishments and stuff, but I'm sure you're the same. Just as you do this for many years, it's the recognition's nice, but just keep rolling on.
Yeah, you just keep doing it. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, that's one of the things I do like about Muay Thai is there is no system like that. You just do it because that's what you do, and you just keep improving. You just keep getting better, and you go from there, right?
Yeah. Find it for yourself.
What kind of karate did you do?
Mostly Shotokan based, but I did quite a bit of Kempo karate as well.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. That's something you hear from like old school now. It's all either Shotokan or like Kyokushin's getting pretty popular now. Yeah, but back in the day, Kempo, chuckling all stuff.
Yeah, finger strikes and eye pokes and groin rips and all that stuff.
Yeah, when I first started, it was Jeet Kune Do, so a lot of headbutts, knees, elbows, eye pokes,
nice
hooks, all that type of stuff. Yeah,
that's great, man. Love it.
Yeah. So let's start talking about some of your fighters. So you have quite a few people that compete.
Yeah, we have about we have 5 gyms in the Calgary area. I just run one, but out of our gym, we probably have about 10 or so. And 2 A class, which would be Chris, and then one of our other ladies, Sarah. And everybody else is fairly novice, but we're working their way there.
So you guys have the class system in Alberta, right? CBA? No,
we don't at all.
We don't. Okay.
No, I mean, which is, in my opinion, not good. We should. I'm amazed that we don't, especially when you think of like IFMA and all those. They use the same classes, but unfortunately, it's just kind of like, how many fights have you had? That's pretty close. Do you want to take that fight?
Yeah, it's the same as here, man. Like, I fought in Alberta once when I fought McKinnon back in the day.
Yeah.
And it was the same kind of thing. Like, how many fights you got? And then you're like, I got 1. He's like, he's got 6 or 7. Good enough. Go for it, right?
Right.
And it's so weird that there's no proper structure for that type of thing, right? Like, I just had a girl fight in like a very novice, like, like the no knockout type thing. Mm-hmm. And she was fighting someone who's a trainer at another gym. I'm like, how can you be in the 1 year and under division? Like, but no one cares. No one says anything. They just do it. And it's all like on the honor system kind of thing, right?
Right.
And it's and then you see over like in England and Ireland and stuff like that, like they have that system. And then the fighters just, the ones who are there, like, and they grow, and it's a proper structure. It's really messed up that we don't have that out here.
And then you have the junior goals. I mean, if you want to be an A class fighter, start in C and work your way up. But we don't really have that here. You just sort of, hopefully you get good, and hopefully you can fight for a title. And I understand someone's got to do the paperwork and everything behind that, but it would sure help just as a whole to have something like that here.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. And you guys are in Calgary, which is probably, I think, like the biggest Muay Thai kind of city in the country, I think.
Yeah, got to be up there for sure. I mean, Mike Miles has had his gym open longer. I've been alive, so he's been the biggest, obviously, influence around here.
Yeah. And all through Alberta, I find like there's great gyms all over, even in smaller towns like Edson and like outside Edmonton and some of that. There seems to be a lot of really good gyms, really good competitors.
Yeah. Yeah. Good Muay Thai in Alberta. Yeah. I agree.
And well, in Montreal too, I guess Quebec has, but I guess I think in Ontario they don't have any system there either, right? Or do they have the CBA class?
I don't think so, but I know that Muay Thai Canada, they seem to be pretty heavily involved out east, and they seem to be maybe trying to work something out like that. It seems to be going that way.
Yeah, because like here, I mean, like it's not even legal right now. They legalized MMA and boxing like 5 years ago, and they're just starting to get kickboxing legal and Muay Thai legal, which is crazy.
So insane.
So you can have amateur fights, but you can't have pro fights.
That's crazy, hey?
Yeah. And you can't do elbows, can't do much.
How are you going to grow the sport when you go? So the second you leave home, you're going to compete against people who have the tools that are necessary, and you're just trying to get used to it.
Yeah.
In the same country.
Yeah. Yeah. It's messed up, man. Like I was talking to Jason Fenton about that a bit.
Yeah.
And he was, trying to get like Master John and like Arjon Song to like, help kind of develop all that stuff. And then he's, the BC Athletic Commission was just not having it. They're not too stoked on it. But that's going to change this year. Apparently they've got the rules set in place that we're going to be able to start doing that. So that's good. There's a lot of good fighters here too. A lot of great gyms around Vancouver and the areas. So it'd be nice to be able to start doing that properly.
Sure, and promoters. I mean, helping out their own local talent, as well as when you're putting on promoters, that's money spent. That's people coming to watch. It's not just about the fighters. It sort of helps the community, even just outside Muay Thai, but even just the community as a whole.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point. Yeah. So let's get a little bit into your fighters. So the idea with this podcast or this video cast is just to like give people who are newer to the sport, who are starting to train, a kind of an idea of what to expect and what trainers are looking for and what the whole process is. Because I think people will watch something like Embedded or whatever, and they have a rough idea, but they don't really know the whole scheme. Yeah. So I kind of want to talk to you just about like how you train your fighters, how you kind of divvy up their time and stuff like that. Like, what do you expect from them? Do you expect them to be there like 6 days a week, 4 hours a day, or 4 days a week, or whatever? So just kind of give me a rundown what you would look for, like a beginner fighter, someone who's just starting off, they got a couple years of training and they're looking to start competing.
Yeah. Well, I guess using me as the example, I remember my first time. I'm pretty sure you were probably the same. I mean, most people probably were 10, 20 years ago. I just trained, and my instructor said, "Do you want to fight?" Yep, sure. So I went from training in the gym to people calling my name. I literally was covering my nipples because it's my first time not having a shirt on competing. And looking down at the mat like, oh, look at all this blood. Like, so I went from training in the gym to just this giant thing, people screaming your name, and I can't see them in the ring. And so, of course, adrenaline and everything, like it was just so crazy. So the number one thing, if you want to take a actual fight with me, is I want to see you go to tournaments, local tournaments, super soft contact. Let the adrenaline do its thing. Let you get tired. Let you get punched in the face. That's good. You want to keep going. Okay, so now we can do a smoker. So now you kind of get that feeling. So I know some people hop right into it, but I'm just not that way. I want to see you progress because, as you know, I'm sure you can punch and kick. That's why you're here. But how do you react to the pressure? How do you react to getting hit? How to react to somebody having to say, you have to perform now, go.
Yeah.
Right. I want to see those things a few times before we actually have to deal with it in real life, where people have paid money to come see you fight.
Yeah, that's good. I jumped right into ring fighting. I didn't even know that novice semi-contact competition was a thing. My coach was just like, you're going to fight this guy, and it's full contact, no headgear, no shin guards, 10-ounce gloves, like 3 rounds.
There you go.
Yeah, and it was like, not a lot of people, but probably like 500 or 600. It was fucking nerve-wracking, man. I was so like, what am I doing? What am I doing? But now there's all these tournaments around, so you can take your fighters there, and it's, you're not going to get knocked out probably unless you do something really stupid. And
sure.
Yeah, and then they do their tournaments, so you get 3 fights. Even if you lose one, you can jump right back in and go again, which is really good. For a lot of people, so that first fight's just a fucking shit show anyhow, right? So
yeah. I really don't have a lot of. I know it doesn't sound nice, but my first time fighters, you always hear like, oh, I'm going to work on this and this, and I kind of just like, I know. Oh, and I'm going to try this, and I know. Really, what I want you to do is go in there, feel that adrenaline. I want you to get dead tired, which I know you're going to for sure happen by the end of round 1.
Oh, for the first minute,
Yeah, I want you to have that feeling of, I think I want to quit, but then I want to see you finish it out, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So that's big for me. Is I really want you to get that feeling on the first fight of you hated being in there, because then you can see what it really takes. Like, remember that little bit of running you did and the little bit of bag work? It clearly wasn't even close to enough.
Yeah.
You know, like I really want them to come back to the conclusion instead of me cracking the whip, you know, because that way you're your own bad guy and it's not me. I'm there to help you, but I'll show you, you know, I don't want to tell you, I'll show you the things that have to happen, and it's up to you to take that bridge. And same with fighting. One of the stipulations for fighters, first time fighting, 100th time fighting, doesn't matter, is they get the final say of yes, I want this fight, or no. That way in camp, when you can see they're being lazy, they don't want to do it. Oh, I hurt my leg, I don't know if I can fight. I can literally look at them and said, you said yes.
Yeah.
You told me you wanted this.
Yeah.
So no pressure on me.
Yeah. Well, no, and that's true too. My coach would do the same thing, right? He's like, you said you wanted to fight. Like, you got to be prepared. Like, I want you here as much, 5-6 days a week and all that stuff. Like, it's time to do sprints. You said you wanted it. So, and after your first fight, like I said, I jumped into my first fight just like that. But then I realized how important all that extra work was, because it's like, yeah, you're exhausted. I remember talking to Gabriel Varga a few years ago, and he said he almost quit after his first fight. He's like, I won, but I was so tired. He's like, I never wanted to do it again.
Yeah,
obviously he changed his mind, but yeah, like it happens to everyone, because it's so nerve wracking. Like the first minute, you're dead after that first minute.
Yeah, brutal. But yeah, so I just kind of on that line, I want my guys training. They have to train 6 days a week.
Okay.
That's usually Monday to Saturday. We usually give them Sunday off because we have classes, and who doesn't want Sunday off usually?
Yeah.
Running. I hate to even say the minimum 5 days a week. I would like to say 6 or 7.
Oh, really? Okay. How long? Like 3 to 5 kind of K or longer?
5K. 5K. Yeah.
And then for anyone who's in the States, that's about 3 miles roughly.
Yeah. So, and then I don't care what anybody says. Strength and conditioning people, fighters, nothing replaces running. Even for the mental aspect of getting yourself in the zone, thinking about your fight, visualization, and getting your ass out there on the pavement. Nobody likes doing it. Right? Get out there and do it. Running for me is one of the most important things for fighting.
All right. That's interesting, because for the people who don't know, we met at Coach Kieran's coach's clinic, and he was saying the same thing. It's like, there's nothing replacing that. You have to run. Yeah. And I remember getting up at 5:30 in the morning and going for my run every morning, just fucking hating it. But it helps. It does help.
Yeah. And even when I was fighting too, it made a difference for me. I always felt the best when I was running correctly.
Oh yeah, really?
So, yeah. And we do sprints and other things, but I just really feel, and I don't care. Whatever works for you. But from my way through Chris's way, what we have found best is, we're not reinventing the wheel here.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're not running, we see, you see it too. I can tell when your fighters are 2 weeks out, they're looking a little gassed. Like, dude, you're not running. I can tell.
Yeah.
It's the difference. It's the difference between, in my opinion, the fighters and the not fighters, at least in my gym, is those who consistently run will keep doing it, and those who don't fall off. And that's okay. Fighting's not for everybody. Yeah. Maybe your one fight, maybe that was your UFC fight, but if you want to keep going, it's minimum 5 days a week. I would prefer 7 to go running, and training 6 days a week. Fridays are our sparring day and sort of our tweaking days that we use for the next week for the fighters. We spar, we coach them. These are the things we're going to work on for the next week. And then so we kind of take it a Friday by Friday rotation.
Oh, that's cool.
And and Friday's church. There is no missing church.
And that's the thing. Like Fridays, man, a lot of people will not go to the gym on Friday.
Oh boy, that's religious around here.
I would always go. I actually got a job, so I was in the same parking lot as my gym. So I'd finish my job, and I'd just go across the street to the gym. I love going on Friday because no one else was there, so I got the coach for 2 hours by myself, nice. Which was, kind of a blessing and a curse, but I got a lot out of it, right? Like I probably got the most out of my whole week just by going on a Friday and being like one of, if not the only person there. So
yeah, it's crazy. And we built a good little, we call it Punch Face Friday. We built
What?
Punch Face Friday. That's our Friday sparring session. And we usually have 20 people on the mat. It started as 2, 3, 5. And of course, Chris sort of being the big bad fighter around here, and people want to come and spar with him and hang out with him. And so it's created a cool culture which would be weird if somebody told me we have Friday night sparring, but nobody shows up. I'd be like, wow, it's packed in my house.
Yeah. Well, also if that's the only night you spar, then people are definitely going to show up for it. I'm assuming if they want to spar, if that's the only chance they get, then.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, besides after class, but something that really I was happy that Coach Kieran really reiterated was there is no sparring in class. There's a separate class for sparring. And so I'm super. I mean, we can stay and spar after, but yeah, if you want to actually spar, you have to come to that class, the Friday night.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
That's cool. Yeah. So speaking of Chris McMillan, am I saying that right?
Yeah, Chris McMillan.
Yeah, and he just won the WBC Super Welterweight title. Is that correct?
Yeah, Canadian
so
title.
154. Okay, so it's a Canadian title.
Yeah.
So let's talk about like an A-class fighter. We just talked about like a novice. So let's talk about somebody who's been doing it for a while. Kind of give us like a little bit of rundown, how many fights he's had and how long he's been training and stuff like that.
Chris has been training 16, 17 years under me the whole time. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. And then just slowly started picking up fighting as an amateur. He was, pretty good. And then of course what happens is you hit that stride where you get about the 10-12 fight mark, and nobody's playing Muay Thai anymore. These people want to win. They want to do something with Muay Thai. And so Chris took like 5 losses in a row, and then we sat down and said, we're at this point. Are we doing this for real, or are we just pissing around? Are we done? He said, no, I'm in. And then I think he went on something like a 24-3 kind of like a win-loss there. So he's got about 46 fights. Fought in Mexico, fought in Seattle, fought in New York, fought in Thailand, east coast of Canada, west coast of Canada. So we've been around doing it.
Wow, that's cool, man.
Yeah, and he's my little brother. So and it just started with I have an unbelievable passion for Muay Thai. He's got the same, and so it's super easy to spend all day together doing Muay Thai when that's all you guys want to talk about. Yeah.
Does he only fight amateur, or did he fight pro as well then?
Yeah, he had 3 pro fights.
Okay.
So obviously the one he just won, and then we fought down a year ago in Vegas, and he fought Teo Mikalic from Croatia, who actually fought Myrtle Gronhart, knocked him down, actually, like pretty bad dude. And
really?
Chris won that fight. Yeah, broke his arm in the process. We didn't even know. They were taking the glove
Chris
off.
Broke his arm? He broke the other guy's arm.
The other guy somehow broke Chris's arm. We didn't even know. Yeah, after the fight, we went to the back, and the doctor took off the glove, and Chris kind of, and he's, what's the problem? Oh, my wrist is kind of sore. He's doing this. Dude, you got a broken arm. Chris is like, no, I don't. Look. And he's like, no, I promise, man, you have a broken arm. We're like, are you sure? And then about 10 minutes later, he's like, oh, okay. Yep, that's broken. Yeah.
Was it just a hairline fracture, or?
No, it was legit broken, and then they let it heal for a month or so. Didn't heal correctly. Had to go in for surgery. So that was last November, and he still had problems even leading up to his last fight here.
Like a whole year
still had problems with it. Yeah, still having problems.
Yeah, that happened to one of my guys too. He broke his arm, and he didn't feel it. He just kind of kept going, and then this was just during like a hard spar. He just kept going, and he's like, "Oh, my arm!" Like, at the end of the day, he's kind of like, "Yeah, my arm's a little bit sore." And he calls me next day. He's like, "I think I broke my arm," and he had 2 broke right through. And then he had a fight maybe like a year later, and he took a kick as he blocked it, but he blocked it with only one arm. The other hand didn't get over in time, and
broke it again.
So no, it didn't break again, but it was messed up, right? So I was like, well, you gotta get that fixed up before we can continue, right? And then also, don't block with one fucking arm, but get out of the way if you can't block it properly. But I mean, I remember that exchange. They both kicked at the same time. He caught the guy and dropped the guy, and so the other guy was falling and just barely glanced his arm. Like, it wasn't like a hard kick, like it wasn't all the way through, but it was enough to do the damage, and he was out for a while. So
leg versus arm, no good.
Yeah. So exactly right. Yeah. With Chris, like, let's talk a little bit about his training. Pad rounds, bag rounds, just kind of like an overall idea. You don't have to get into too many specifics, but I'm kind of curious. Like, you pad rounds like 3 times a week, bag rounds, kind of just.
Maybe this is part of the reason Chris had good success, but we did pad work. Especially 4 weeks, the 4 weeks up to the fight, once Monday, twice Tuesday, and then Wednesday he trained with somebody else, twice Thursday, twice Friday, once Saturday. So
wow. 5 rounds each time?
Minimum, if not 10, 15 rounds.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah, my body's destroyed from him.
I think I saw your posts about him destroying your body, but that makes sense if he's doing 50 to 60 or 70 rounds a week with you. Yeah, let alone he's still doing his own bag work, his own skipping, his own strength and conditioning, still training with other people.
one of our training partners is as well Jake Peacock. He's the fella with the one arm there.
Oh yeah,
fighting
yeah,
online. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. He's from Calgary.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he trains. Him and Chris are good training partners. So when he's not training with me, he's got a badass training partner like Jake.
That's cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you say he trains somewhere else, does he train at a different Arashi-Do, or does he?
No, just with like Jake or like Kieran Kettle, the guy who was holding at Elite Muay Thai there, who held the
race
Muay Thai
side,
World
right?
Cup. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He'll go down there Friday and spar with those guys. And
that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, at that level, if you're going to spar with me, you're not going to get any better. You need to go out there, feed with lions.
You guys have a good. You say you have a good like rapport with like Smandich.
Yeah, you bet. I trained with everybody from Calgary has basically trained under Mike Miles.
Yeah.
Myself included. So that's where we first met, and I was a big fan of Trevor growing up, watching him fight, and then I just did private lessons with him for years. So yeah, and just kept up, and like I honestly can say Trevor's like a good friend of mine, good buddy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I only met him one time when he was in McKinnon's corner. So
yeah. So what a dick.
Yeah. my coach always had good things to say about. My coach was named Brent Russell. He was from the Pride Gym in Trail.
Yeah.
And so I trained with him, and he always had good things to say about those guys. So 12. I kind of lost count there, but like 12 sessions up to in a week maybe with pad rounds. How many bag rounds and what did that look like? Were you guys just like going all out, or was it like more
no, you know what? So we get in the gym. I'd let him warm up, me warm up, and we would start off with about 20 minutes of just drill, a couple light drills, getting light on the pads, working a couple specifics maybe at a nice easy pace. Technique is correct, footwork is correct, you're on balance. We'll do that for half an hour. We consider that our warm up and sort of our technical talk, and then after that, there's no learning. It's go time. Sometimes I'll put on the clock and do 5 threes. And then what happens is 5 threes, nobody, and it's a little pissing contest between me and Chris. He doesn't take his gloves off. I don't take the pads off. Okay, let's do another one. Gloves don't come off. Pads don't come off. Okay, let's do another. Let's start getting to round 11. And it's like, okay, man, you win. and then we would finish just the pads before we do anything else. 200 kicks per leg. So 400 kicks.
And round kicks or teeps?
Yeah, round kick.
Okay.
And then he would do 200 knees, 200 teeps on the bag. Along with 5 threes. So, he's getting into a minimum 20 rounds per training session. I never have to ask Chris to be at it, in shape. He knows, especially at that high level like you. I mean, Sean was a high level fighter. At that level, you know yourself. You have to be prepared. No one's gonna tell you. They don't need to.
Yeah.
We're not picking flowers. We're not playing darts. This is fighting. Yeah. You have to be ready.
And your conditioning is a weapon.
Yeah, it's the one thing you can control.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not going to condition yourself, it's like fighting without kicks or fighting without punching. It's like you've just handicapped yourself big time. So.
Yeah. And the other thing that we would do sometimes is I would just I'll listen to a song. I don't tell Chris these things. I don't want him to know what's coming up all the time because then it becomes predictable. You know how to coast, all that kind of crap. So sometimes I'll put the clock on and it goes off and we just keep going. And instead, what I'll do is I'll do song rounds. When the song's done, go grab a quick sip of water, and then we'll wait till the next song. So then he's doing still 4 or 5 minute rounds, 3 minute rounds. And then the last month though, this is my theory on it. We do 3 minute rounds as an amateur, 30-second rest in between rounds.
Yeah.
As a pro, we go to 4 minute rounds, and then 45 seconds rest in between rounds. So
okay.
I've never had a problem with gas tank with fighters, almost ever. I know a lot of people, we want to know when the round's finished. And so if it's 2 minutes or 3 minutes, we do those exact rounds. So we know exactly how to pace the fight. And yeah, I mean, I guess if everybody follows the script, that works. But I don't want Chris to be able to last 3 minutes. I want him to be able to last 10. So we're going to go 3 minutes and then some. Right. So that was my whole theory on it. At least training with Chris as well. So.
Yeah. Well, that's good too, because I mean, like your energy system, you can only recover from that exact, 3 minutes on, 30-second rest. Sometimes you need longer, sometimes a little burst, shorter burst, stuff like that. I think it's really good to mix it up, especially if you're doing a ton of training. Like if you're doing 20 rounds a day, 6 days a week, I think it's good to mix it up, just doing the same. And when you do 2 minutes on the pads, 2 minutes in the ring seems way longer. 2 minutes in the ring seems like forever. Yeah, it seems like 5 minutes, right? You're like, oh, there's that. You're expecting the round to be over, and it just keeps going and going. It feels like so. Yeah, you definitely need to be able to keep going even when you're tired, and that's I think that Kiat Mu 9 gym in Thailand, they do 8-minute rounds, like 8-minute rounds. Oh! And you're not allowed to rest in between. You're supposed to just keep moving, like just kind of like shadow boxing or whatever, right? So it's, that's where Sing Down comes from and Pechapunarong. I mean, those guys, you never see them get tired, right? So definitely something to be said for over clocking the round a little bit for sure.
Yeah, those are great examples for sure.
Yeah. So then, do you guys have any specific like strength and conditioning, like weightlifting type of thing you implement, or?
I don't. I let Chris has his own program, and he's tweaked it over the years, of course, working with a ton of people.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I do think strength and conditioning is a must. That's a must. But I also just feel like, as far as I know that sort of, but at the elite fighting levels, that's not my expertise.
Yeah.
And I definitely suggest people seek that out. And Chris has. So he's our strength and conditioning guy. And if anybody's doesn't think Chris is qualified, okay, maybe he doesn't have a silly weekend certificate that he got for doing a 4-hour course and got a hat and a whistle. But show me a fight where Chris has ever been tired. You can't find one fight, not one, where Chris is gassed. It doesn't happen. So we all rely on him for the strength and conditioning, and it works. All of our fighters, novice to even the higher level fighters, don't get tired. And I credit that to Chris and him putting in that effort. I like strength and conditioning. I don't disagree with it, but I want to talk about fighting.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about lifting heavy objects over my head.
For me, like I have a background in strength and conditioning, and like
clearly,
I've again, I'm an SSA specialist, sports conditioning, all that stuff. But honestly, like you can buy like 1 or 2 books from like Ross Enamite, and you're gonna learn all the same stuff. And you're not gonna get a certificate for it, but you're gonna learn a ton of stuff, and it's more sport applicable too, right? Like I know a ton of shit about soccer and how to get people ready for soccer, but that doesn't really translate to fighting. Right. And there's not very much for that type of like specific thing, right? 'Cause it's all like college sports, and there's not, Muay Thai is not part of that, right? So you might find a few things on boxing because of the Olympic boxing coaches, and they have like a pretty good background of how to adapt things for boxing. Yeah. That's about it. You're not going to find much more past that. Maybe wrestlers too, I guess, but
yeah. And unfortunately, strength and conditioning today has turned into, and again, we talked about UFC Embedded. You watch that, and it looks like a one-man band. Someone standing on a ball, blowing a whistle, patting their head, tapping their belly, with doing this with their leg while they're supposed to blink with one eye. Like it's like, and then again, you're like, holy cow, that's what it is now. And you often hear like, no, that's just somebody being silly.
Yeah. Oh, they're trying to make something interesting for the cameras, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I agree. We have a Infinite Intensity. I've owned that book since 2005.
Dude, that's my favorite book. I got it around the same time, 2005, 2006, and that's like still hands down. If anyone comes to me about that stuff, I'm like, start off with starting strength, and once you get that down, read this book, and you're going to be good to go. 85% of it.
I'm not surprised you came from a strength and conditioning background. When I see your videos, I always notice your calves, dude. You have some impressive basketballs for calves.
Yeah, those my little wrecking balls in my leg there. So before, I gotta go in a few minutes here, but a couple real quick things. Mental stuff, because I know you were at the Vinny Shorman thing. Do you implement any type of mental training or visualization with your fighters?
Yes. I try to keep the mental training to just being honest with yourself. I obviously don't doubt anything Vinny does. Vinny's a great dude. I mean, it's proven, and I've met Vinny a few times. I just can't. It's just me. I don't. Whatever works for you, but for me, just thinking about a white unicorn in a field and stuff, I'm like, man, it's just not my thing. And no offense, like lots of those things. I'm no world champion. He works with Eddie Alvarez, Liam Harrison, so he obviously knows what he's doing. But I can't, as a coach, I'm sure you feel the same. How can I can't relate that to my students because I'm not sure I believe in it myself.
Yeah.
For me. So I as far as the mental training, it's all just the little things. If I hear one complaint while you're in there, we have to talk about that. I'm not happy about that. You can't be in here complaining. You can't have your hands on your knees. You can't put your hands just those little things. When somebody's tired at the end of a round, hands on the ropes. Coaches myself will come, hand off the rope. What are you doing? Oh, stand up. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I got it. Just little things like that to start, obviously. And just reminding them all the time, hey, listen, you said yes to this. You know the work that's involved. It's been laid out to you beforehand. It's just time to get to work. Anytime there's hard days, and we all have them, I tend to be the softy coach. Chris tends to be a little harder nosed. So we got the good cop, bad cop, which works out perfect.
Yeah.
Everyone's scared of Chris. Everybody runs to me for a hug. So, and for business, that works out good. But just a lot of reminding people, like, all these little sayings. Everybody loves a good training day. You know, everybody, when you're on fire and sparring's good, hands are good, cardio's good, everybody loves those days. Yeah. It's the days that you can't find your left foot, you're getting punched in the face, you're tired, you're beat up. Those are the important days. You know, those are the days you need to be there. And relish in it. I just consistently remind people of that. My piggy bank, we have a piggy bank here. I keep telling people when it's hard, you see they're getting drained. Listen, you're putting money into your cardio piggy bank. You get to spend that all on fight night. You need to fill up that piggy bank. And you can tell they're like, right. Just instead of, I know we all need to go look harder, faster, but is that doing anything? You know, I know it's supposed to be harder and faster and blah, blah, blah. So just little sayings like that. I have about 100 of them, you know, just keep dropping those things throughout camp. For every time, I learned this as well, and Chris uses it, for every little one time that you feel doubt, did I do enough training? Reinforce it with 2 more. We did with Chris. Chris, you've never been tired. Chris, you're the guy at 154 pounds. People are looking for you. Right. You know, man, I kind of got injured, you know, when I just consistent reinforcement of this is normal. And I'm sure you've seen that chart, you know, the up and down, the ice cube or the iceberg chart. I feel awesome today on Instagram. Oh, I'm a piece of shit. I suck.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to remind my people all the time that this is normal. What you're experiencing is not weird. You're not unique in any situation whatsoever. You're no different than anybody else. Just shut up and grind. Like, you know, do you smell it? The walking, you know, making your gym sort of like a UFC, or, you know, I see it on UFC on Ultimate Fighter, the exact same surroundings and stuff like that. I get it, and I think that's important, but I just think people get in their heads way too much, and I do a good job, I think, of reminding people you can't be Bruce Lee overnight. This is a process. You can lose. I mean, even to help with some pressure. Here's another big one. I literally would tell my fighters, nobody gives a shit if you win or if you lose. Nobody cares. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, if you lose, you're going to go to the gym and you're going to think, I'm going to walk in and everyone's going to go, how did you do? And you're going to go, oh, I lost. And you think everyone's going to go, oh, no, I better go quit my job and sell my house. But here's the reality. You're going to walk into the gym and you're going to go, everyone's going to go, how'd you do? And you're going to go, I lost. And you're going to go, oh, that sucks. Hey, my puppy caught a yellow ball yesterday.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Life goes on for everyone, right?
Right. Take that pressure off yourself. So I really try to relay that, you know, getting nervous. Oh, I'm really nervous. Listen, when your hand wraps are on, and then tell me you're nervous. Until then, you have days, you have hours to be nervous. Relax. Wait till these are on, then we'll talk. Then we'll talk about nerves. So I just consistently reiterate things like that. Fitness isn't free. You know, you're going to have to get out there and earn it. You just all those things, and just when you're on my fight team, what you see happen is I just have to let go of one of those sentences, and you see they're like, right, got it. And then
that's very cool,
man.
On track. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm a laid back guy.
Yeah. Oh, I can tell.
Yeah. So I want my fighters to know that, like, this isn't I'm steering the ship, but it's not a dictatorship. If you want to stop, I mean, if you sign up for a fight, you're going to complete that camp and fight.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to do it anymore, then stop. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, fighters they require the most amount of time and have the least amount of money. I don't mind if you want to stop.
Yeah, that's very true. When I first got into this, I'm like, I'm gonna get all these fighters and, you know, fight pro and making. It's like, no, most fighters are like, I got nothing, man. Like, can I borrow your gloves? Do you have any extra hand wraps? I lost mine. I'm like, yeah. But I mean, that's part of the biz now. So I don't even think about it anymore.
And chasing it for passion. Don't do it for money. There's no money involved. You gotta. I love Muay Thai. I mean, more than anything else, it's all my eggs are in this basket.
Yeah.
You got to go real quick, right?
I got a few more minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Jason Fenton. So you mentioned Jason Fenton.
Yeah.
So, just a funny little story about Jason Fenton. He's obviously a Muay Thai OG in Canada.
Yeah.
when I was training at Mike Miles, if you wanted to speak Thai, know anything about a move, everybody just said, go ask Jason. He was the man. So way back in the day, obviously Bloodsport it's my favorite movie of all time. I'm sure you're probably in the same boat, I hit that age, right? So it's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Still to this day, you can't argue away from me that it's the best movie ever. So I was a young kid, 5, 6 years old. My grandpa showed me. So anyway, then he shows me Kickboxer because my grandparents got tired of watching Bloodsport every time I came over. And at the beginning, it's Dennis Alexio kind of treating Van Damme like a bitch. And I'm like, no bueno. You can't treat, Frank Dukes like a bitch.
Yeah.
Back to Bloodsport we go. So back to Bloodsport. Eventually we tried it again. And they talked about this Muay Thai and Van Damme, his stuff's garbage. It's light tip tap and Muay Thai. And I'm like, you're telling me there's a martial art better out there for like Van Damme? You calling this guy a pussy? And obviously, so I got to the end of this and this mystical Muay Thai. Holy cow, right? And I thought it was pretty cool. I'm like, well, shit can't be real. It's in the movies. So then I walked to Mike Miles Kickboxing, and I walked down the stairs, and the first thing I see is Jason Fenton, and he's got Thai shorts on, and I was in grade 7 at the time.
Okay.
And the first thing I think is, holy shit, that's the goofy shorts with that goofy writing. And I was like, this shit is real? I couldn't believe my eyes that Muay Thai was real. So I hold Jason. Jason has a funny spot in my life because martial arts is my life. He has this funny thing that I'll never forget, that anytime we bring up Muay Thai or Jason Fenton, he was the first guy I ever saw with actual Muay Thai shorts on doing Muay Thai. And it blew my fucking mind. Yeah, that it was real. And I have genuine love for that guy ever since. I tried to emulate his style because he was very Thai style in his fighting.
Oh, yeah.
I saw him throw a ghost punch or Superman punch in a fight. I was just in the crowd, and I saw him do it. And I was like, wow, that's a cool move. I did it the next day at a karate tournament, and I got disqualified for breaking someone's nose. So I'm like, oh, that worked pretty good. So I learned it from him just by watching. I have a deep love for that guy because I really feel like I found Muay Thai just because of him being at the right place at the right time.
That's cool, man. Yeah, Jason's, man, like, he's great. I did one of these with him a few years ago, and he's such a nice guy, man. And like this area, like the Vancouver area, because he's been here like I think 12 years now, maybe a little bit longer. Yeah. And he had like the best Muay Thai tournament I've ever been to. He had all amateurs during the day in rings. He had 4 rings set up, like actual rings. And he had a amateur card. He had Sean Kearney there. There was the only fight I've ever seen in BC with elbows. I mean, they had weird pads, but it's the only time I've ever seen it. And like that guy's put in so much effort into like creating a fight team and creating like real like Muay Thai culture here. Like it's it's like him and Song, I think, are the 2 people I think of when I think of Muay Thai in Vancouver.
Yeah. Jason could in my eyes almost do no wrong with Muay Thai. If I ever had any doubts or any questions, I would ask Jason. He could tell me anything and I would believe him.
Yeah.
So hopefully
I'd see that too. Yep.
I'm hoping he doesn't see this and mess with me, but
I'll make sure he sees it.
Jason, I love you. Don't mess with me. I believe everything you say.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for your time. I do gotta get going. I gotta go get the kid out of daycare. So I'll talk to you soon. Are you gonna be down at the CSA in April?
Already booked my flight and hotel.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, Ivan Hippolyte, first coach announced. That's gonna be sweet.
You don't have to announce anyone else. I'm there.
Yeah, I was gonna go no matter what anyhow. So okay, I'll see you down there then, man.
You bet. We'll talk soon. Thanks a lot, Dan.
Yep. Take it easy.
All right. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you to Jason for your time. If you want to subscribe, hit the icon up on the left-hand side. And if you want to watch another video, click on the right. And if you like the video, make sure you hit like and let me know in the comments below if there's anything you would like to see or hear about in future interviews. Once again, thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.